Hello, everybody. Welcome to VEX Warfield. And we're just going to talk about some stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Hello, Panther. And we're just doing the National Assembly call, and Chase decided to be MIA. And here I am. So we'll talk about a little bit of order, at least until some people start walking in. Oh, there's 5 in here, right on. Hey, Smiley. One of the things I was observing was that nobody was actually stopping the people who were just rambling on and stepping over people in the National Assembly call. Yeah, that's kind of a sore spot for me because I believe that if you have an order to something, you stick to that order, and nobody was stopping that from happening. Hi, Veritas. Hey, Sean. It's just one of those things that I was noticing, and it didn't seem like anybody was being called out on it, and that was kind of irritating. Yeah, I mean, obviously they were called out on it eventually, but they weren't adhering to it. Let's see. I'll go ahead and get that invite. What's up, Ray? A patrolling tow truck just snatched a car. Well, that's corporatism for you, because nothing belongs to you. All right. So, like I said, an order, a structure to things. Now, in the National Assembly call, I'm in there to try and figure out what are the proper ways to do things. And from my understanding, I was starting to get a grasp on it. But then I listened to tonight's call, and everybody, well, not everybody, but there were certain people who just stepped on each other and stepped on other people, thought it was a conversation instead of a lecture type format. Now, whenever you have the floor, you have the floor, and you're not supposed to be interrupted until you're done, unless you happen to go on too long or something like that, I think. So, I had this person on there who kept on, having the conversation with whoever was talking, interrupting, stepping on them, things like that. And yeah, I thought that was pretty shitty myself. I didn't like that a bit. Um, if I would have been on the call, I'd have been basically, jumping on his case about it. But it didn't seem like, to me. I mean, eventually, it seems like somebody gets tired of it and then says something. But I would be saying it as it happens when it happens, or else the guy is no longer, learning anything. He's just preaching and throwing what he wants everyone to know out there. Well, it's not exactly like that. Hey, Sheldon, welcome. And so, yeah, one at a time, in order to things. That's how things get done, and you get understanding. But if you're just stepping all over people, it doesn't quite work out very well because, quite frankly, I didn't understand half the stuff that was being talked about because they were jumping all over each other, and I couldn't distinguish the voices. So yeah, the whole sections of the night was basically thrown in the fucking trash, and I didn't like that a bit. Because, like I said, I was trying to learn something and I wasn't able to learn something. Either that or I was confused by it. And then when I voiced my concerns, then people were trying to smooth it over. Oh, he's new. Well, I don't give a shit if he's new or not. He's not learning the proper procedure. I mean, Yeah, it sounds like I'm being a hard ass about it, but you know what? Tough shit. Because, this is supposed to be about having an order to things so you can get things done properly. Now you start stepping outside the lines and, well, we'll just use coloring. You start coloring outside the lines, it's not going to look like the same picture you started with. It's going to look very messy, and it's going to be very messy. And what if something's lost in the translation? Like, I was telling everybody this very important thing, but this person over here stepped all over me, and we couldn't get what he was saying because he was being stepped on. I couldn't hear him. But say la vie, right? Hey, Veritas. Hey, you all gotta jump up here with me, damn it. Yeah, as much as I just love hearing myself talk. VEX needs a vacation. I just had a vacation. Hey, Jay, welcome. Looks like we've got somebody new jumping on. But it says here that the device is not connected. Hey, Sheldon, doesn't look like you're connected up. I don't know if you're still trying to do something, or it might be messing up. But if you have thought you're completed and you're in the backstage area, you are halfway there, but it says that your device is not connected. All right. Let's see. There was another point I was going to make on that. Now I'm not remembering exactly what it was. I'll just take a moment and see if I can remember. Let's see. I was about talking on top, and oh, you got a link here. What do you got? Oh, Twitter, my favorite place. No, I don't want to sign in. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Can I make this? Now let's try. Wonder if Twitter yell at me. No, crap. All right. All right. Sheldon, whenever you come in, it gives you a choice on whether to basically put in an icon and type in your name, and it'll ask you to share your cam and mic. You want to do that, but you don't have to go on cam. If you don't want to, you can just go on mic, and you click the cam button to turn it off. It'll give you the option for an icon. Hopefully that explained it. The woman of Florida, yeah, the one who is ripping him a new butt, yeah. Right now I'm trying to do a screen share. See if I can put that up there, and we'll go ahead and play this real quick. Where the hell is it? There it is. All right, we'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then this. Ah. Is the sound on? Was the... No, okay. Sorry about that. I'll redo it. Don't. All of a sudden, my computer is acting really retarded. I hope my vocals are going in clear. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if I was all roboto. Come on. Piece of junk. Don't make me fix you. Alright, just a moment. Do this right. Why is... my mouse is acting like it's in muddy, thick mud. What the hell is going on? Alright. Let's see if this is up. Alright, that is up. Good. Wait, it didn't give me the... You're kidding me. Alright, I'm really getting irritated at screen share. Do what I want you to do. Thank you. Alright. Full blown. Go, lady.
You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. And we the people are waking up, and we know what citizens arrest is, because citizens arrests are already happening, okay? And every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested. And you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity. Every single one of you have a smirk behind that little mask, but every single one of you are going to get punished by God. You cannot escape God. You cannot escape God. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot escape God, not even with the mask or 6 feet. Okay, 6 feet, like I said before, is military protocol. You're trying to get the people to train them. So when the cameras, the 5G comes out, what? They're gonna scan everybody. We got to get scanned. We got to get temperatured. The kids have to go to school with masks. Are you insane? Are you crazy? I think all of you should be in a psych ward right the heck now, because none of you know what the hell you are all talking about. This is insane. And then you want to open this meeting with a prayer to God. Are you praying to the devil? Because God is not listening to that prayer, because all of you are practicing the devil's laws. What happened to Bill Gates? Why is he not in jail? Why is Hillary Clinton not in jail? Why are all of these pedophiles that are demanding you all to listen to their rules? Why are they not in jail? Oh, is it because you're part of them? Are you part of the deep state? Your time has expired. The deep state is going down. And if any of you are in the deep state, you're going down with it.
Well, I think that pretty much just sums it up. We need more people like her getting in their face, shouting them down, and not acting like a crazy person, but throwing out facts. I dug it. Well, it sounded like she was just doing that from just the top of her head, so yeah. I wouldn't say she's exactly, but yeah, she's pretty much on. Yeah. Yeah, if only. Hell, if we had some fucking men like that, along with the women. Damn it, I still haven't thought of what else I was going to say earlier. Yeah, that lady in, I think it was in New Jersey, she seemed awfully, focused on wanting to bring in lawyers or lawyer-like people. I mean, the last person she was talking about was a professor. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect for the General Assembly. Yeah, I asked a question in the chat. I was like, if he's such a freaking expert on all this stuff, then why hasn't he been a part of the General Assembly? You want to know what I think? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. I think it's because he knows who he is. And I think he's been suckering this lady. And I think that lady is a sucker. Poor New Jersey. And as far as the stuff they were talking about as, hey, Mid-City, welcome. They were talking about, they were all worried about, basically Trump using the military to give out vaccines and stuff like that. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He did that with the military to take control of it, so that would not happen. Because if he hadn't have, then that would have left the door open for them to basically force vaccines on us. Now, Trump's basically so the National Guard's going to be in charge of distributing the stuff. And if you don't want it, you don't have to take it. But there's going to be a lot of people who do take it. And they're going to find out real quick how bad it is for them. And unfortunately, they're going to be flopping around like fish out of water. That's not good, but you can only lead a horse to the water. You can't make them drink. I can't believe all y'all are just going to make me twist up here by myself. All right, fine, be that way. Sheldon was the only one that had any balls. I got it. Just kidding. Relax, people. Okay. Oh, now you're advertising.
What up with you?
What's happening?
I gotta mute. There we go. I got it muted.
All right. All set now?
Yeah, it's all fisted. Also, it's all fist. I had to get out the hammer.
Yeah, all of a sudden my computer started acting all crazy and shit. I think I'm going to have to tear it apart and clean it.
Hi, Panther. Hi, Rebel. Hi, Jay. Hi, Raymond. Yeah, I have to take mine out to the shop and blow it out every once in a while. It gets all clogged up with cat hair. Starts slowing down.
Right on. Well, I'll go ahead and remind you guys to go ahead and hit the thumb and share it out because I can't share it.
I ain't hitting my thumb. I hit my thumb last week and it still hurts.
Yeah. Wuss. Yeah, I can't share it, so please do it for me because I have no platform to share it to, except for maybe Discord.
Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's the only one left. No, I can't get into Facebook anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they took my password away.
Well, damn it, man. There's nothing going on over there anyway.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm giving up Facebook anyway, so fuck it. Hey, Jack.
The only reason I use it is for Messenger.
Yeah, I barely even used it for that. Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, when they launched that whole messenger system is about when I stopped using it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, nope, this is too much. I'm done with you guys. That and my mama was on it, and I was like, no, I don't need to have my mama be on here and telling me what I can and can't post and liking my shit and all that other stuff. And I'm like, no, no, thank you, no, thank you.
Yeah, you're talking about the framing hammer with the basically the meat tenderizer at the end.
Ooh,
Waffle hammer. It's called a framing hammer.
Yep.
And I have hit myself in the thumb with one of those.
Yeah, I hit myself once. That was all it took.
Yeah. It was so bad they took pictures and they could see the waffle marks on my bone.
Right on. Hey, Sean.
yeah. So about 5 minutes before Ricky ended it, I went to poke around, see if Chase was coming on or whatever, and then this channel called Truth Freeze. I posted a link in the forum, or not the forum, but the Discord, and they were talking about pretty much the same kind of stuff we talk about a lot at the Q&A section of the call, but they're like trying to say the stuff happened in like 1900s, early 1900s, and I was trying to tell them like, no, it was Organic Act 1871, and I tried to tell them about how the governmental services and stuff, and then the actual owner of the channel, she was on a phone call with another guy, and the other guy was like saying no, like I was wrong, and I was like, all right, well, there's 5 branches of government, and I'm out. I mean, if you're not gonna listen and you're gonna just dictate and not, hear about other parts of it because you got it all figured out, everything, and I guess you're stupid because he was talking about, yeah, you don't need a driver's license, but I just got my new driver's license, and I was like, so you don't practice what you preach, do you, motherfucker?
I was just getting irritated for the lack of order on the call since that guy started talking from, Arizona was it?
Nevada. Abraham in Nevada.
Abraham. Yeah, he just considered it a conversation the entire time and was basically stepping all over people, and I missed off what people were saying because he was stepping all over them. So yeah, it was irritating the shit out of me.
Yep. That's how they do it in Nevada, especially if you're in the city area.
Yeah, I've got them up here. Truth Freeze.
I'm not sure what browser he's using, Sheldon. So I'm not sure on how to direct him.
I usually use Firefox on my mobile device, and I've heard Opera works, and probably anything is better than Internet Explorer for the most part.
Oh God, yes.
Maybe check your permissions with your actual, permissions on your device that are allowing the actual browser to have permissions. Maybe those permissions are hard turned off, so you can't ever turn them on or whatever. Maybe check those. What were you saying?
I just said, hey, Arif.
Oh. But, yeah, and then when you first join and it's loading, just let it load. And it'll show up like 2 headphones or whatever for the intro page or whatever, and it's still loading. Just let it load the whole way. And then on the top left corner, it'll pop up with a permissions. Just hit accept. And then after you hit accept, before you come in, you can change your name and your picture and stuff. And there'll be 2 little tabs. Well, there's actually 3 tabs because there's settings, 1, 2, I think. But the one on the left is audio. The one in the middle is video. You can turn the video off before you even enter the stream. I usually do that every time. And then you can just jump right in that way. And then you hit, finalize or enter, whatever it's called. Basically, all the blue buttons, hit all the blue buttons. before you come in here.
And type in your name.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I just don't know what he sees. He might be doing it on his phone, which I have no freaking clue. Just 'cause
I'll
I don't.
explain the phone version.
Yeah,
If
that's
it-
what
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Thank you. I had no clue.
I assume it's pretty similar though to the computer.
Yeah, you'd think that, but that's not necessarily true. Just like the Discord app's totally different from PC from the phone.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hate that computer stuff is apps now. They used to be programs. I guess we don't have programs anymore because I figured that was a bad connotation to what they're actually trying to do with the apps to us. Instead of having programs and
Exactly.
you're getting programmed, they're using apps that you're getting programmed with. So it's a little sleight of mind.
Yeah. He says he's on Android.
Yeah, I use Android too.
Right on. Oh yeah,
It's
programming.
cheaper.
They
I
don't
could
want to
buy
use
10
that
phones.
because of the word itself, programming. They want to basically keep that out of the eye of the people or the ear of the people. I would just say mind and call it even. Keep it out of the mind of the people so that they don't necessarily know what it means. It's an app now. There's an app for that. It's an application. It's non-threatening.
But really, it's their application to you to join their programming network and to sign away your abilities and permissions to your rights.
Don't read the fine print.
Well, I read the permissions before I even download an app, and if it has permissions I don't like in there, like read all contacts, create and write into your hard drive and stuff, I'm like, no, I don't need this one. Skip that one. Some of them be like, read all your Wi-Fi information, and I'm like, yeah, because you need to read all my Wi-Fi information? I don't think so. Not at all. It got quiet because Ricky muted, I could tell.
Yep, he's got the background. Yeah, Veritas used to do tech support for products in their junk. Not so much the computers, but for the phones and tablets. Yeah, you know way more than I do about it. I've never even had a phone that wasn't, I went from landline straight to a flip phone and stayed there. So yeah, that's the extent of my knowledge. I went out of my way not to learn stuff about those phones.
Yeah. I didn't get one for a long time. Then I got one mainly because all the free games. So I could play games for free instead of paying for Xbox and PlayStation games and all this other
Yes.
stuff. And nowadays and age, you can get like full actual RPGs on your phone, and why not? If I can get a full RPG on my phone for free and play for free and do that,
yeah.
and why am I going to pay like $50 and then pay another 10, 20, $30 per update patch and shit? I don't want to do that. I'll just get a free game.
Well, yeah, man. That's part of the plan. Make sure you don't need any other device other than that phone, so you can always be staring into it.
I usually don't stare into it.
Yes, you do.
It's barely sitting there half the time. I just make sure it's on and my character still playing. If I die and it disconnects, then I go back, turn it back on. I do a
Yeah,
few
I'm a-
like dungeons and stuff, but that only takes like 2 hours. The rest of the time it's just on. They have offline mode now too, so I try and master that timing with while I'm on here, especially when my tablet goes kaput and you guys can't hear me, but that's usually when I switch over.
Yeah, I'd be on the superficial part of it. Yeah, I'd be with Veritas on that. Yeah, I'd rather play on a larger screen.
Well, there's emulators too, though, but I don't. I'm
There's
not
an app
too
for
worried
that.
about it. Well, technically, an emulator is not an app. It's more of a program on your computer.
Yeah, but that doesn't make the joke funny.
Well, the emulator makes more apps for that.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. The globalists are playing a real life RPG. Oh yeah, worldwide, baby.
Okay, so
Did you go in there,
I went
Ricky?
over there. Yeah, I've been over
Yeah.
there, and I was listening, and yeah, they don't have a clue. They're looking for a solution, and they think it's commercial liens. You know,
Who?
using commercial against the
Truth freeze.
yeah, using commercial against the corporation. That ain't gonna work. Anyway, she's got some kind of special guest on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make friends over there.
Who dat?
Did you see my comments up in there? Like I was trying to drop some pills in there.
Yeah, I saw that. You did good. They're not listening. They don't get it.
All right.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Sheldon, welcome.
I'm in.
What's up, Sheldon?
How's it going?
If
Where
you
you guys
have-
from?
Hey, hold on just a sec. If you have YouTube playing in the background, go ahead and mute the YouTube.
Also, it could be headphones if you don't have headphones.
Also, it could
on,
be
but-
headphones. Yes.
Let me close out some other windows here.
Cool.
Right on.
I got my windows open.
Okay,
Oh,
did
You want to watch
is
the
that better?
chat?
Yeah, I'm not hearing any echoes. Right on.
Okay. So
If
where you guys
wanna watch
from?
the chat.
I'm Vex in Missouri. Next.
Anybody from California?
Yep.
Oh
that's
God,
me.
no. We don't let people from California on this call.
Shit.
Don't worry,
Sorry.
I'm not your
So-
typical Californian.
Sorry, Jack.
You're also beefing on Sean too, so.
Yeah.
And Sheldon's been around Chase because I've seen him comment in the after showtime period.
Yeah, I just started following Chase. I just started following him
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's
how I
basically-
found.
Well,
That's how
Yeah, I
I
was
found
just
this
gonna-
channel.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's how we basically all got together, is through Chase.
We got some
Weird.
crazy stuff going on out here. Just crazy.
Well, have you heard about the National Assembly?
No, what is that?
This is what we've been waiting for. We have actually found a way to go past all the bitching and complaining about what's going on and making it so that we can do something about it. The National Assembly enables us to do that. I would suggest, here, I'm going to go ahead and throw the link into the chat, and you can grab it and go to it when you have your time to do so. And if my computer will stop acting like it's retarded. Thank you. And let's see, what would be the best way to give them an intro to this?
I can answer that.
Act of 1871?
No.
Go ahead, Rick.
Don't scare the fuck out of me.
There's not much that scares me anymore. I've seen it all.
Okay, so Sheldon, do you understand the three branches of government?
Yes.
Okay, did you know there were-
Legislative, judicial, and executive.
correct? Did you know there's 5?
No, I did not.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys explain the 4th one and the 5th one, and I gotta run to the bathroom. My screen's
Well,
turning yellow. I'll be right back.
Well, like you said, yeah, executive, judicial, and legislative. You knew those already. All right. The next one would be the grand jury. Now, the grand jury is made up of number 5, we the people in assembly.
Mhm.
Now, people think that in assembly means that, you grab your signs and go and peacefully protest and all that stuff, which is a part of it. But it's not all of it. See, in assembly means for a group of, we'll just use a county level. For 13 people in your county to get together in an orderly fashion. Actually, I'm going to ask Jack to jump in on this. He'll be able to explain it a little bit better than me. If you would, Jack.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. He started with the grand jury. A grand jury, the minimum for a jury is 12, and the 13th as an alternate in case someone gets sick or family stuff comes up or whatever. And the reason the 13 is because that is how our court system it works with 13 jurors. And the 13 jurors come from we the people in assembly. They are picked typically randomly from a pool of people, but if there is a minimum of only 13 in the assembly in the area, be it county, then all 13 are typically all pretty much going to go forward. And when there's more, then there's a choice. The fourth branch is the jury. It is a de jure jury. What we currently use is a de facto jury. The de facto means in effect, but not. I don't know the term right here. It's brain farting on me. But it basically means we're using it for the time being, but it's not the proper one for our people and our Constitution the right way. The de jure jury is of the people, created by the people, for the local area in which the jury is for. And what the grand jury does is address grievances brought up by the assembly of our elected officials, be it sheriff, the mayors, the governor, if it goes all the way up to state level, and so on and so forth that way. You can also address grievances through the legislative properties of your county and state, and also national, but we're kind of leaving that out right now. But the fifth branch needs to be created through a special means, which is laid out in the 10 steps and also has more information within the handbook on National Assembly. What you basically do is you get people together, they talk, and in person is what it's supposed to do. And then once they're in person, seated within their area, they all talk, they get to know each other, they start talking about different grievances. And then once the different grievances are talked about, then you pick a new date to come back at another time, and then you come back, and then in the second step you start assigning offices for the people within the assembly, be it a sergeant at arms, a minutes scribe, and so forth. Different different typical offices in which you see all throughout our country. Coordinator would be more of like the mayoral, governor, president type head, a person kind of orchestrates the meeting. You can also add moderators within there, depending on the large of assembly you have in your area. Once you go through all the other steps, parts of them are to have record of your assembly in the area, and you send public notice letter. And
Getting an echo.
You wait.
Yeah, you're double timing like Max Headroom again.
Yeah, see, when I start making it fucks me up.
If I may,
Yeah.
I'll pick up the baton where Rebels laying it down. Welcome, Sheldon, to Four Corners Report and our After Hours chat that normally follows up Chase the Patriot. I'm your fellow Californian Sean Stryker along with Rebel Jack. Of course, you've heard Ricky and Vex talking. And I like to kind of give things more in a layout of corporation versus volunteer. The people in assembly and in the jury grand in the de facto grand jury, the de facto grand jury as opposed to grand jury de jure, if you think about it, you get paid for jury duty. The grand jury de jure, you're not getting paid. It's volunteer. The people in assembly, it's volunteer, unlike the BLM protesters who are getting paid right now, the AstroTurf protesters. So that's one way to look at it, is this is what the founders intended, is that everyone volunteers for this stuff. and gets together to vote on issues and grievances around the country, versus political parties doing it for us, or representatives that are career politicians doing it for us. This is the way to, as I like to put it, to overturn corporate governance or overturn a corporation running this country, and that comes from us. The corporation has failed us. It's overstepped its reach, which some of the other guys can explain in a moment. And this is us getting together and saying, okay, we know it's broken its contract with we the people, so time to get rid of the de facto and go back to the de jure. I'll go ahead and yield, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sean.
If I may.
So, just
Go
want
ahead.
to make a few comments. It definitely sounds interesting. It definitely looks like something that I'd love to know more about. I'm not really sure. That's the first time I've heard of it. But the way I see things going right now, the one thing that just gets me just kind of upset is that the thing I've been crying about a lot is, as far as when I can get on shows and stuff and make comments and stuff like that, is that we need to have our own movement, because I find a lot of people in the conservative side, there's no movement, there's no infrastructure, there's no leadership, it's just everybody's like ragtag all over the place. And when you go to the left, especially living in California, on the left side, everything's very organized. They're very well. There's a lot of cohesiveness. There's a lot of drive. There's a lot of enthusiasm. And of course, I know they're getting paid, but still, even years and years ago, we had something called the Tea Party, and that was a very strong movement for a while. And then something happened. It just all broke up. It just got hijacked. It got co-opted, and it just kind of fell apart. And we need that same type of infrastructure again that the Tea Party had.
Yes and no. So the Tea Party was demolished by all these people who are trying to demolish the Constitution right now. The Tea Party had a very good
But
movement,
it was grassroots in the beginning, though. For a long time it was grassroots.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's why they had to destroy it. So that's why there is no Tea Party movement right now, because it was already destroyed, and they know all the people who were in the Tea Party movement, they got destroyed too. And as a matter of fact, they got sued. Some of them went to jail for piddly-ass reasons, like Roger Stone and stuff like that. That's exactly how they treated everybody in the Tea Party. And that's why it hasn't raised its head up again, because, quite frankly, it got chopped off already. And as far as a grassroots movement, you can't get no more grassroots than National Assembly. And actually, your General Assembly of your county and state.
But
Ricky,
how do we have to do something where we have a voice, where we're out in the street, we're protesting. Like right now, where's all these protests? There's no protests going on right now, and now they're reinstituting the lockdown. Well, not necessarily the lockdowns, but they're getting more strict now in California, when we thought we were out of this whole thing. Now Gavin Newsom's going back and trying to grab onto it again.
well,
If I may, Sheldon and Ricky,
go ahead,
if I
Sean.
may, and Vex, this is relevant from what I was saying to you guys earlier. You got to understand, Sheldon, anything, whether it's political, body politic, or in this case, governance, which is actually a little bit separate than politics, there's a lot of feint and counterfeint. Tomorrow in Riverside, downtown at Fairmont Park, the BLM and Antifa knuckleheads are doing an anti-ICE, anti-PD protest. Now, I'm looking at that real quick. It's from a kid who's supposedly from Compton. He lives in San Bernardino, but he's going to protest in my town in Riverside. You get it? That smells to me like a Fed right there. If we always are in the streets like the Proud Boys were, the Proud Boys got rounded up. That's what they're trying to do, is bring us out into the streets so they can create, concocted reasons to round us up and throw us in jail. So meeting them on the street is like failing at Sun Tzu's Art of War. We are doing stuff through the legislative side, which will cut them off the kneecaps. Ricky can enlighten you further on that. But I understand your concerns, and yes, we all want to be like the Proud Boys, but the Proud Boys got caught up in the moment, and because they went a little, quote unquote, too far, the judges had them by the balls when they did that.
Okay,
I can break that down for you later.
A few weeks ago, remember this was like, a month or two ago? There were protests going on all over the California. There was some going on in Huntington Beach. There were protests going on in Sacramento, San Francisco, in the Riverside area, or Southern California. What happened to those protesters? Where did that movement go?
Well, let me explain this to you. Do you remember in Virginia we had the 2A protests and the anti-Northam protests about abortion? What did Northam do the next day? He ignored the protests and he signed
the instituted the law. Yeah. He signed in the law.
Ricky can explain.
All right, hold on, guys. One
Ricky
at a
will
time,
explain
please.
how that works. Ricky, you want to knock it out of the park?
I'd love to knock it out of the park, if I may.
Batter up.
Setting it up. Go for it.
So, Sheldon, okay, so you're asking, what do we do? Okay, and you're saying, okay, all these protests and all these things. I got a thing you can put on the screen there, Vex. So you're asking, what do we do? What do we do? All these protests, we've all been protesting. We all been jumping up and down, and nobody's listening. Correct? That's your question, basically.
No, I'm saying right during the lockdown period, there were protests that were starting to grab traction. Okay, and Laura Ingraham had some girl on her show. There was Tucker Carlson. He was talking about it. We were getting some traction with some of these protests in Sacramento. There was like almost every weekend there was a protest going on in Sacramento. Then we had this whole issue with that came up with the whole George Floyd thing that pivoted everything to another direction. So then the Black Lives Matter thing came in. Then the whole Antifa thing started to come around. But now the conservatives that were protesting during the lockdown, where did all that go?
Okay. Now, the protests, are they a group of people that are getting anything done? That would be my question. Okay, everybody, bikers for Trump, and everybody's going to Washington. Let me finish here.
All right.
Everybody going to Washington, D.C. and pounding on the bricks, and everybody going and going to their governors and jumping up and down and screaming and holding signs. The question I have to propose to anybody out there is, are they getting anything done? And the answer to that is no. They're wasting a lot of fuel and food and motel rooms and money, etc., and jumping up and down, not getting anything done. So I want to propose to you to think about this, just for the heck of it. Do you think the Founding Fathers would allow us, we the people, not to have any power and authority over our elected officials? That's a question. I'll say it again. Do you think that the Founding Fathers would allow us not to have any authority over the elected officials? Okay, so I'm not going to go into 1871 yet, but the elected officials are governed by we the people. In other words, the elected officials are being told what to do by us, we the people. Well, how does that work? I mean, how do we do that? It's Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution.
Sheldon
Article
fell.
1. Did he fall out?
Yeah.
Did I scare the hell out of him already? Jeez, I didn't even get started. Article 1, Section 1 of our Constitution says, number 1, we have the right to assemble. What does that mean? We got a right to go jump up and down at the State House? No. I'm going to just finish this. Get her done! Article 1, Section 1 says, we the people in assembly have the right to oversee our government. And I yield with that until he comes back.
Yeah, essentially, it just comes down to our government, if you want to call it that. It was built by the people, for the people. So that means that it is the individual who has more power than the government.
Absolutely.
And when several individuals come together to make decisions, that makes it even, what's the right word, exponentially more powerful when you
Yes.
add more people. Now, it requires, 13 per county. 13 people per county is all it takes to make a big noise. A big noise. And now, if you get your entire state, or how many was it for the state?
32.
32.
32 or 37.
Okay, 38 was for national, right?
No, for your state.
Make sure I get these numbers right. All right. But you get that many for your state, and you're speaking for all the people in the state. You're not speaking for corporations. You're not speaking for lobbyists. You're not speaking for politicians that don't bother to pay any fucking attention to us anyway. Now, you're talking about the people. What do the people want? Well, in General Assembly, you decide exactly what you want, and you put it forth. And it gets enacted. And if it doesn't get enacted, you have steps to make sure it gets enacted. Now, if somebody in particular that's stopping it from happening, I believe citizen's arrest is very powerful in that situation. And in that case, then the highest person in your county would be the sheriff. Not your governor, not your mayor, none of those people. But your sheriff is the one who rules. Well, not rules. He enforces the law. Common law. Am I correct, or need a adjustment to that? Anyone?
No, you're correct. You got to remember, do they have any authority over me? Whoever they may be, you know. So,
Well,
if they're out of bounds, say for instance, I'm walking down the street, cop pulls up, wants my ID, and if they're out of bounds, you can tell them go, kick rocks. Well, that's the same thing with all of our. Government.
right on, Sheldon. Welcome back.
There's Sheldon.
He's not back up on screen with us, but he's back in the chat.
Welcome back, Sheldon. We were addressing your point, and I'm going to add to that. A lot of folk like the idea of being in the streets, being counter-protesters, things like that. I admit I enjoy a good football game or a good scrum or a good battle royal, but that's the trap, my friend. What we're doing, as Ricky was explaining when your signal cut, we're going into the technique that cuts a lot of this out right at the knees. It's very surgical, and it's been there the whole time since the founders. And I'll go ahead and shut up. So if Ricky or Vex want to reiterate what we said a moment ago or continue on, it's up to them.
Ricky, you want to continue?
Well, I'll wait till Sheldon gets back in here. Because, Sheldon, we have found the solution. The solution is not out there protesting. The solution is actually the fourth and fifth branch of the government. Something that they don't teach you, something they don't want you to know about.
Yeah, to put it really simply, we've all been duped. We've all been fooled. We've all been lied to. And they've made sure of it through taking over. You're here. You know about the deep state and all that stuff. So you have a firm grasp of how much they have infiltrated, correct? So if you know that. Oh, yeah, I'll drop the link again real quick. But if you know all that already, then you know that they have people placed in the government to intercept anything that would be good for we the people. Now, in that, you have to take it a step further. And are they going to allow us to learn about this stuff, through our schools? Well, hell no. They've invested a lot of time and money in turning those teachers and students into basically jello-brained idiots. So, anybody that can think for themselves is basically treated like the poor boys. Or poor boys. Shit. What's their name?
Proud Boys.
Proud Boys.
Yeah, treated like the Proud Boys, and an extension, the Tea Party. Which, that's a prime example of what happened to the Proud Boys. Same thing happened to the Tea Party. They're getting obliterated and sued. Welcome back, Sheldon.
Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back, brother.
And if I may add to that, gentlemen, the Tea Party was smeared as racist and bigoted, even in the Captain America comics by Marvel, and they did the exact same thing to the Proud Boys, saying they're racist and bigoted, even though members of the Proud Boys are Cuban, black, whatever. They create a narrative, and then they put you in jail with the narrative, just like they put Roger Stone in jail for a fake narrative with Russia. So with us, what we're doing is we're creating a education base with the national assemblies where people can learn what they need to do, and then they can realize that the narrative they were taught, to paraphrase when InfoWars talks about hidden information, this is the super duper hidden information, and it's not anything what you would call conspiratorial like a UFO or a Bigfoot. This is the stuff, brass tacks. You take it into the court scenarios, you take it into legal scenarios or lawful scenarios, and it's like, hey, this stuff works. I'll yield.
What does everybody think of InfoWars?
They're fulfilling a role. They are getting out a lot of information that, trying to point people in the right direction, but they fall short of taking it this far because, quite frankly, they'd probably be firebombed the next day. If I may, when they do go too far in some things, they have had things happen where people are firebombed, or the people who did the interviews get firebombed or killed within days. So, basically, like this last week, Jones and Owen have both dropped some of our little catchphrases, and it's like, oh, plus Chase the Patriot mentioned the assemblies to Owen. So we're getting through. If the ground roots swell builds enough, InfoWars will have to cover us by default.
Here's the thing. Let me just add my little 2 cents to all this.
Sure.
I'm sure what you guys are doing is a great idea. I don't know much about it, which I'm going to read up about because I saw the link in there before I jumped back on. So I'm going to look into it. But this is even though you're doing this, there has to be parallel operations going on. While that's going on, there should be other stuff going on the street. There should be there should be campaigns, there should be organized rallies, there should be organized protests, all that stuff going on simultaneously. While you're doing what you're doing, you should be talking with other groups that are doing stuff in the streets.
Oh, as a matter of fact, we do.
Because what I find is that there's no organization as far as the conservative movement goes. There's just everything is just ragtag, not organized.
If I may.
I don't even know if there's any protests going on this weekend in California.
Well, that's not too surprising because the way we are having to do this right now is kind of on the download, just because if we go mainstream, they're going to firebomb us, all of us, and put us all in cattle containers and milk us for the rest of our lives.
So
like
basically, we have no chance if we go.
No.
If we get enough of a movement going, and we grab onto like a Tucker Carlson and say, "Hey Tucker, will you cover this?" Or
Nope.
will Lou Dobbs cover what we're doing, right? Because Lou Dobbs is very
It'll never
patriotic. That would
It'll
never
happen. It'll never happen. That's Fox. Fox is a corporation, and so are all the rest of the mainstream media. Anything coming out of there is controlled opposition. Plain and simple.
If I may.
Please, Ricky.
Okay, so what you're saying, Sheldon, is that you do not know of an organization that is going forward. And you're saying we are screwed because there is no organization going forward.
No, there are organizations that are available, but the problem is they're not active enough. They're not progress oriented. They basically just sit around and talk about the problem, but we never get anywhere. And those organizations are like the John Birch Society, which I don't really have a lot of exposure to, but I have had some exposure to the Eagle Forum. Is anybody familiar with that?
Familiar with the name, but not in practice.
Phyllis Shapley's group.
Right. Phyllis Shapley started the Eagle Forum in the 70s. But when I looked into it and I went to a few of their meetings, there's not even a lot of members. I mean, considering that this group's been around for almost 50 years, the membership is considerably low. But
okay.
It's just unbelievable that we're not pushing the ball down the field like the left is. That's what is my big complaint, is that we're not pushing the ball down the field.
Okay, so what if I said we have already pushed the ball down the field and we have already got a response? What if I said that?
That's great news. I'd love to hear more. I'd love to. How is that happen? What's going on?
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you.
Real quick, Ricky. I'm going to say real quick that I'm where you are where I was at about 2 months ago, before I found out about this. Honestly, I was sitting here and I was frustrated with everything going on. I didn't see any forward movement whatsoever. Now, it wasn't until I got into learning about the National Assembly and all the work that's been done for the National Assembly that I started going, oh, now I get a lot of stuff. So if you just be a little patient, Ricky, go ahead and go with what you
just be a little patient for a second and kind of take a step back from all the problems. Okay, so we all see the problem. We all know the problem is there. Everybody is concentrating on the problem and parroting the problem. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's whoever. They're all talking about the problem, but nobody's talking about the solution. So what would the solution be? Okay, so the solution is we the people in assembly according to the fifth branch of government. Now, what if I said that we the people in assembly already wrote a letter to the
Let me just ask you one quick thing. Let me just
Okay, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Let me just ask you one question.
I don't like being interrupted when I'm on a rant, so I'll be back.
No, just one quick question. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Are you there?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. If they're not respecting our laws right now, like the Constitution, and they're not recognizing the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, we're losing all our Bill of Rights, right? What makes you think they're going to honor this? What you're bringing up to me right now?
And they have no choice, because if this is done the way it needs to be done, it basically takes all their laws and all their regulations and all their stuff that they've piled on top of the Constitution evaporate. They have no power, and the military listens to us, not them.
Okay. Is this something you guys could get this get Owen Schroyer to go along with this? Is this something where we could get some traction with?
Now, you see, one of the things about this is the way of thinking. Your way of thinking is still in, we'll just call it the corporate mode. You're thinking, okay, the best way for stuff to get done is to get it on a major media platform and get it out to the people, and everybody will learn about it, and then we'll have this massive movement, and everything will be awesome. It doesn't work like that. This is all flash. All that is flash. It means nothing. You're not seeing anything in the news that's not been pre-programmed. The only thing that's less pre-programmed is some of the stuff that spills out of Trump's mouth, sometimes. But other than that, it's all pre-programmed political theater. Everything's been planned out. The only thing that screwed up their plans was Trump getting into office. He wasn't supposed to. Remember, Hillary was supposed to be the next queen, And right. See, that's what it all boils back down to is our government was set up as, well, after the Civil War, we were all devastated. And Yeah, I've already started going back to the 1871. Ricky, you want to go ahead and finish your thought?
I'll try.
All right.
Okay, so let me take you back in history a little bit. Sheldon.
Yep.
Okay, in history, way back in history, right after the Civil War, there was a congressional meeting and the South walked out of the meeting. Okay, the Civil War devastated the United States. We were bankrupt. Okay, the army was put in charge of taking care of the people. The army, or the armed forces at the time, got tired of taking care of the people. Then they made a contract with foreign banks and foreign entities to take care of the people. They were supposed to provide us with 19 essential things. Are you following me so far?
No, I'm listening. I'm just trying to be quiet. I'm not going to say anything. Go ahead.
Okay, so that was the act, the Organic Act of 1871. That was when Washington, D.C. was formed. That was when the United States of America was turned into a corporation. Mm-hmm. We've been operating under that corporation ever since 1871. The corporation has stepped out of the bounds, jumped out of the rails, crossed the double yellow line, and it would be like if you contracted me to go into your house and put tile in your bathroom, and you came home and I started a new addition on your house. Not part of the contract. Therefore, I voided that contract that I had with you because I was not following the contract. Act of 1871. We're in a contract. We're a corporation. They violated the corporation contract. We wrote a letter to President Trump and we didn't ask him. Okay, we wrote the letter to President Trump, not as the president, but as the commander-in-chief of the military, to repeal the Act of 1871. In other words, that 1871 contract is null and void because they stepped out of the bounds. Mm-hmm. We ask our commander-in-chief of our armed forces. Now listen, Trump has two hats. Okay, he is the president of the corporation, or the CEO of the corporation, which is the United States of America Incorporated, but he also has a second hat. That second hat is Commander-in-Chief of our military. So, we the people in assembly, according to Article 1, Section 1 of our Bill of Rights, wrote him a letter, and he responded, and he acted on it, and he did what we said. But we wrote him the letter as the Commander-in-Chief. Okay, so, something is happening. We are going forward. We're not protesting. I'm not out there protesting. It's not doing any good. Pounding at the gates of heaven isn't going to open the open gates. You see what I'm saying? There's Baptists out there pounding on the gates of heaven, and the damn gates are open. Okay, so you're ignorant. Same goes with all the protesting going on. Okay, so it sounds real good. I mean, they've been protesting since people got killed in Kent. You know, we've been protesting forever. That's not doing anything. What is happening right now, what is doing something, is we are acting on the fifth branch of the government, which is we the people in assembly holding our government accountable. There's plenty of documentation. I can pull the letter up, or somebody else could.
I'm looking for it right now.
The thing is we're not addressing the corporation. Okay, so here's one for you. Here's one for you to think about. Walmart's a corporation. Do I have any authority over the corporation called Walmart? No. Can I go in and tell the CEO of Walmart to change things? No. Same thing with the Corporation of the United States of America. I, as a person, cannot go in and tell the Corporation United States of America to do anything. So what does this corporation involve? Well, it involves the Bar Association, your county commissioners, your mayor and city council, your city, everything that you think of. You look up on Dun and Bradstreet. I mean, oh my God. Okay, so if I go and look up my county, the name of my county on Dun and Bradstreet, it's going to show up. Yes, it's a corporation. It's part of the corporation. That's what I'm talking about. We, the people in assembly, are not addressing our corporation. We, the people in assembly, are addressing our commander-in-chief, according to the 5th branch of government. Does that help you any?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're trying to do, sort of. I am familiar a little bit with that the United States turned over to a corporation, and that's why we have capital letters when it says United States. That's supposed to mean something, but I don't know what to say. I'm frustrated, like a lot of people are, and
Sure
I know
you are.
I'm just frustrated because it's just we don't seem to push the ball down the field at all to anything.
Okay, so I understand your frustration, and Vex is frustrated, and Rebel
yeah.
Jack was frustrated, and Veritas was frustrated, and many others that come on these calls that I'm on right now with you. They were frustrated, and I said, hey, look, we got the answer. It's right here in front of us. We have the solution, and it's right there in the Constitution. It is we the people in assembly. Assembly doesn't mean you go down to church.
Are you from California?
No.
Are you from which state are you from?
I'm in Colorado. I'm on Colorado.
Who's the one from California?
Stryker and also, who was the other one?
Jack.
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 Right.
Jack.
Are they still on the call?
I've been listening the whole time, brother. You know,
Okay,
I'm kind of where you are.
Jack
with
and
me,
Stryker, back me up if I'm right. If I'm not right, then correct me. I don't mind being corrected. There is a guy who's been trying to start this movement, or has started a movement called New California. Have you heard of that?
Off the top of my head, I haven't, unless it's the whole thing about dividing California up. I've heard of that in different outlets.
Paul Preston is a guy who started New California, and he's gotten all these counties in California to agree that we need to break off from California and start a new state. Now, it's a great idea on paper. I'm all for it, but you know what? It never goes anywhere. It's never going anywhere. And it's
I may respond.
Go ahead.
Okay, so your state is a corporation. Breaking off and making a new state would be making a new state under the corporation. It's corporate. We're not operating corporate. We're operating de jure, not de facto. I could put that up there.
Yeah. No, that's not
That's not it. But they're trying to form another state in California that is part of the corporation. Now, you got to understand and listen real careful to the next thing I tell you. We are overthrowing the corporations. All of them. The state corporations. The Bar Association Corporation. Do you know what the Bar Association? Do you know what that stands for?
Something
Bar?
in English. Barristers something. I don't know.
British Accredited Registry. To be a bar member, you have to give up your citizenship because you're working for the Queen. Here's another one for you. Here's one that'll blow your freaking mind. Okay, so where do your taxes go when you pay the IRS?
They go to the Federal Reserve.
Think about that for a second. Where do your taxes go when you pay the Internal Revenue Service?
Don't they go to the Federal Reserve?
They go to the Queen of England.
Oh, okay.
Where's the office of the Federal Reserve? I mean, of the tax people. Where's their office? The Internal Revenue Service. Where's their office?
Washington, D.C., I guess. I don't know.
How about if I said it was on an island?
Bahamas?
See, you're asking the right questions, okay? And you're trying to get an understanding of what the hell can we do about this?
No, I
It's
mean,
right
I
there
get
in front
it.
of us.
I get it. I know a lot more than I'm leading on to believe, or that I'm just trying to keep quiet and not run over you. But I get what you're saying. The thing is that we're down to 130 days before an election, and I don't trust Trump as far as I can throw him anymore. I have my doubts about him
Why?
for other reasons. Did you ask why?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, he's put people in his cabinet that I don't understand why he put them in his cabinet in the first place. For instance, Wilbur Ross. Wilbur Ross was a Democrat before 2016. Wilbur Ross was a high level career investment banker for Rothschild. Okay. Steve Mnuchin is a Skull and Bones alumni. So I don't understand why he's put, and that's not even, don't get me started with Jared Kushner and George Soros. I could go on and on about that.
Hey,
Or Fauci. Or,
yeah.
or I could go on and on about those. Could he be possibly setting them up?
I don't know what to believe anymore. I just know that I don't want Joe Biden in office, and I'd rather have Trump
come
in office
on.
because that's the only choice we have, right? What other choice do we have?
Okay, so do you know of the executive orders of Trump? Have you ever read any of them? Have you gone down the list? Have you ever studied what Trump has done?
That's
Yes or no question.
No. I have. That's another discussion that I could get into with you, because there are executive orders in there that I've questioned, like why did he sign this? Why did he sign that? But I will tell you this: I don't even know where you guys land on the spectrum of, like, if you think Trump's good or he's bad or he's in between or he's control opposition. So I don't even know what you guys are thinking. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Sure. Okay, so what was his second executive order?
I don't know what his second executive order
Okay,
was.
so therein I have a point with you. You need to do more research. Okay? His second executive order was protecting we the people from the corporation.
Okay.
I could pull it up and read it to you.
Okay. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to go on the Federal Registry. I'm going to look up all his executive orders since 2016. I'll look them all up and read them. But
yes.
But
now I agree with you. There are
question.
some things that Trump has done that I just don't understand. You know, why did it take so long for him to go against the big tech? You know, Facebook and Google and all this.
Well,
okay,
as you can
the
see,
reason
it's not even doing any good, because they've already broken the law after he signed the executive order. They've already broken the law like many times already, and he has done nothing about it.
Or has he?
I've got to say this. You're also thinking about it in the way of, you have to think about it like this. He's the head of a corporation, and all those people around him, he didn't really have a whole lot of choice in having those people around him, because if he just went through and fired them all, like any president is supposed to be able to do, then they would have found a way to make the impeachment stick.
No, that's a good point. I agree with that. I mean, he has to go play a little ball with them, or they're just going to move against them like totally.
Mhm.
But
Do you
Let me ask
understand
you
the
this.
Act
What's
of
your-
1871?
I'm sorry,
Do you understand the Act of 1871?
that the United States became a corporation, right? after
Yeah,
the
do
Civil
you
War.
understand why that happened and how it happened?
I don't understand totally. No.
Okay, so you do need to do some research on that. You need to get an understanding of your, we the people in General Assembly. You need to get an understanding of that. You need to understand who we are and why we have authority over them. Okay, so we don't have authority over the corporation, but we do have authority over the commander-in-chief of my army. It's not their army, it's my army. Who's the leader? I guess it'd be Trump. So who am I going to talk to address the corporation taking over my country? Well, I guess I would address the commander-in-chief of my army. And I told you before, we've already done that. And he acknowledged it. He said, yeah. Good example is the National Assembly, the assembly of we the people in assembly in our states and our counties. Okay. The FBI and the Homeland Security came and investigated us. They walked in on one of our meetings and they said, you guys are doing exactly what needs to be done. We are behind you 100%. The armed forces are behind us 100% because we're not acting in the corporation. We're acting as we the people, calling for that corporation to be dismantled. We're calling for your governor to be overthrown by a governor general appointed by the armed forces.
I got a question.
I
for you.
understand.
What was the? This is another side question. What was the reason for Trump merging the Treasury with the Federal Reserve a few months back? Why did he do that?
He didn't merge the Treasury, he took it over.
Yeah, why did he do that? I'm not sure why. I really don't know. Why did he do that?
He took it completely out of the hands of the foreign banks.
So now
Yeah,
the Federal Reserve is now merged with the U.S. Treasury.
Sounds good to me. Better than
Sounds-
being merged. Listen, better than being merged with the Queen or with the Soroses and the bankers. Wouldn't you rather it be merged with something on the
America.
continent, part of America? Hell yeah, he went in there and... Dude, he went and told the Queen to go jump a rope, man. He went and
she
told
did.
the Queen... Yeah, and she did. Do you remember when Trump walked in front of the Queen against protocol?
Yeah, when was that? I don't
2019.
remember.
You never walk in front of the Queen because she's the Queen. Trump did it
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yep, appearances matter.
Did we
Yeah.
lose him again?
I think so.
Damn it.
But yeah,
Anyway, I yield. If I get out of control, just tell me to get back in my box, get back on the rails.
yeah. Just keep in mind that we're trying to teach. Not
Well, I
berate.
understand that, but sometimes you got to use that silver hammer.
Yeah, but you use it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stop that.
No,
He
you're
seems like-
correct.
He
He's
seems
trying
like
to
he's
learn.
willing to learn.
Yeah, he's trying to learn. I agree.
Yeah.
He's trying to learn, but he keeps
So-
looking at the problem. And I'm trying to bring him back
Yeah, you
around and
know
say,
what?
dude, quit looking at that.
Yeah, you know what? I did too. Back off a little bit, would you?
All right, I yield. I shut up.
I'm not saying to shut up. I'm
No,
just
I
saying
yield.
you got to give him a chance.
That's not my personality. You know,
Well,
I
yeah,
see a nail,
yep.
if I see a nail, I hit it with a hammer. So I yield.
Even if it's not a real nail. It's somebody who wants to learn, so we should teach, not yell. I mean, I know you weren't yelling, but yeah. Well, one of the things that I was confused about was during the Act of 1871 was getting my head around the difference between corporate and de jure. Now, I couldn't find the definitions of those right off the top, so if you got those, that would be awesome. Say that it's not that one either. All right. Yeah, one of the things that basically messed me up a little bit is getting my way of thinking around the corporate thinking. The corporate thinking is one of the problems that everybody is having trouble with. So having them recognize the difference between the two would be severely beneficial.
The gentleman needs to know the basics and why. You know,
Well, of course. That seems like it's a
he
basic.
doesn't need to know what the assembly is doing and why we're doing it and what state and this and that and the other. He needs to understand why. Why are we doing it? You know?
And understanding the difference between the corporate and the de jure is a great basic. It helped me understand it. I just wish
I've
I
been
could
doing
find the
this
damn
almost
thing on
10
it.
years now. You know, and you got to bring people back around. You can't let them go thinking that protesting is the answer. It's not the damn answer.
I know that.
You know?
Now, one of the things about protesting is, the politicians have not been paying any damn attention to us for the longest time, even though we've been out protesting and stuff like that. Tea Party was a perfect example of that. Proud Boys went a little different direction, but still a decent example of it. So, if the politicians aren't paying any attention to us because they don't have to, they've been ignoring us, and so standing out front of the governor's mansion is not going to do any damn good. It hasn't done any good. When has any of our protests done any damn good? They haven't. Now,
They don't
get
have
in this
to
day and
listen
age,
to us.
exactly. They don't have to, so they won't. And the fact that they've got all the media under their wing makes it even a bigger prospect for them to just totally ignore us. And so they do. Good night, Panther. So, going to the governor's mansion and holding up signs may create a little bit of awareness to, we'll just say a percentage that happened to be driving around that day. That might, do a little bit of good. Awareness does help, but it's not doing anything because it's only showing that little bit of awareness. That's it. That's all the good it's doing. But joining the assembly gets you right into the thick of it almost immediately. What you got here? That's what I was looking for. Awesome. De facto authority. Today's de facto governor. Hey people, listen to me. This is your governor. And de facto governor tells the people, you will do this. As your authority, we the people have authority. We tell the de jure governor, what to do or what he can do. It's really that simple. Right on, Sheldon. This is a good thing to get to know. Self-governing is the only way to go, and we've been basically lied to and duped into this de facto authority, where it's basically, from top down. Self-governing is from the bottom up. That's the way it's always built to be. That's how the founding fathers set it up, from ground floor up. And that is the most important thing about it. They flipped everything. Well, you've noticed in the media and everything like that, all that's bad is good and what's good is bad. It's the same thing. They flipped everything on its head and called it, a day, really, and said, you're going to listen to this. And they put it into our school systems. They put it into our colleges. They put it into our medical facilities. They've got it all over our government, Republicans and Democrats alike. They have it in, I already said, medical systems. Everything. Really, just everything. They're putting it into our day-to-day jobs with this COVID bullshit. They're telling us who can stay open and who can't. At very least, it's unconstitutional. They're not allowed to do that. That's a good point, Veritas. Hey, Sheldon, are you on Discord at all? Because we actually do have a Discord page that we have set up for answering questions and diving deeper into the General Assembly. Let's see. I do not have Discord open yet. Let me see. All right. All right. Let's see. I was distracted with Discord. Yeah. The difference between the corporation and self-governance is a key factor in gaining an understanding. I still struggle with it. I'm getting the Discord link for the chat now. Wrapping your head around the difference between those two would be an awesome thing to have and to know. All right. There we go. I'm throwing the link for Discord in YouTube.
So, Mid-City, your comment in the chat room, maybe InfoWars should skip their big Austin anti-mask, anti-lockdown protests this Sunday because protests don't matter. I didn't say protests don't matter. I said they're not getting anything done. We're looking for something that's getting something done. Solutions, knocking it out of the park. We have found something that's working. We've applied it. We're getting a response. I don't want to do anything else. Yippee-ki-yay, let's go protest down there at the Capitol. Oh yeah, that sounds real good. Let's do that. But wouldn't it be better to spread the word about us, we the people, being an assembly, being able to command our commander-in-chief to get something done because we're tired of this corporation overtake? Are you tired of tickets and statutes and codes being levied against you on a constant basis? Aren't you tired of that? Well, I am too.
Good point.
Okay, so we figured out. I yield.
Why?
We figured out how to completely take the corporation out of the picture. The corporation being the Bar Association, your county commissioners, your governors, your state, your State Highway Patrol, on and on and on. We figured out how to, turn them off. Wouldn't that be a better solution, to get involved in turning off the corporation? Let's go pound at the gates of the corporation. Let's go pound at the gate of Walmart. Let's beat on Walmart's doors and say, no, lower the prices. We're sick of you. Are they going to listen to you? They're not listening. The corporation is not listening.
May I embellish?
Yes, please. I yield.
First audio check. 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good.
All right. Also, if this all goes forward, there will be no business tax, no property tax, no driver's license requirement unless you are using your vehicle as a work-related object. There will be no taxes for majority of statewide things. They might, have some tax, but most of them will turn into tariffs, like Trump is mostly trying to do already now anyways, trying to get that set up ahead of time in a sort. Like say you want to go out and, say I want to sell Ricky some of my stuff I make, and Ricky wants to trade it with other goods. We can do that without having to be taxed both of our goods to each other, even though it's a trade over trade. Or if Ricky wants to buy, some cabinets I build or whatever, or a painting I made, or Ricky comes over to my house and then works on my house and builds some stuff for me. He can just, pay me money instead of me having to tax him and then send the tax money over to other stuff and then cite it to the IRS later on and all this other stuff. It gets rid of all these frivolous taxes that are just further imposing deficits onto the people in every way, shape, and form. And then on my second tangent, everybody wants to protest. What do protests do? They just get a large group of people, chant and cheer, same message everybody already knows before they even get there. They're not really changing minds. They're just regurgitating in a higher frequency all their mindset already. What should be going on is more sort of like a fair type engagement where people who don't know stuff can come and then come check out your booth, and you have all this information on it. You hand out pamphlets, and they have questions. You can answer questions, kind of like what Louder with Crowder does in a certain sense, but on a larger scale, more like a state fair, county fair kind of thing we do already. So what we could do is, if the fairs were going on, but I don't think they're going to be going on, is we could get a booth, each of us who wants to, in a county or state fair area, and then put up like a National Assembly booth in these areas. I feel that would be way more effective than if we're just being somewhere and protesting, regurgitating all the information, because people outside your protest aren't going to be coming up to listen to what you got to say. They're going to come and try and disrupt your protest. What you want to do is kind of be like a nonchalant little camouflage person in a little spot where people can walk by and be like, what's your booth about? And they come over there and ask you some questions. You drop some seeds. They get more information, and then you water the seeds, and then you give them some, I'll call it a fertilizer, and you can give them pamphlets and notes and websites and resources to look into and help grow their knowledge on such information dealing with this movement. Because this is a movement. Everybody wants to say, what's the movement or whatever. This is the movement. This is the movement to a true form of governance, which we are intended to have since our founding fathers created the United States of America in the colonies in which we usurped power from the crown during the Revolutionary War. So after the Civil War, we kind of just gave them back the power, like we never really fought in the Revolutionary War. And that happened pretty much right after everybody who was in that generation of the Revolutionary War had died off. So the true American form of government only lived to about one full generation lifetime into where it is now, which is now going on its second, if not third generation lifetime, to where the Queen basically got more rule back over us. Now Trump has started the forces to move us back into our true governance of we the people, but we have not totally usurped that power where we have null and voided all the overreaching laws and governing parts of the de facto and totally returned it to a de jure form just yet. And I yield.
If I may. A response to Mid-City Digital. Maybe try... Oops, it scrolled up on me. Let's see. Where is it?
He brought it up on screen.
Maybe try being on the same side. Okay, well, that sounds really good. I pick up on a lot of unnecessary diversive talk is my point. Well, okay, so Mid-City, I've been on that side. I've been there. I've been doing this 10 years. I've been in all kinds of different groups, and I've been looking for the solution. All these groups and all this protesting is nothing but talking about the problem. And you brought up down here, well, InfoWars is out there doing whatever. Let's see, they spend their time and money protesting like that in Austin. They spend their money on their network, which feeds smaller satellites, etc., etc. Mid-City, they're still talking about the damn problem. I'm tired of talking about the problem. I'm done with that. I'm done with protesting. You know, that ain't helping nothing. That ain't working. It's not fixing anything. So should I be on their side? I am on their side. Okay? I advocate what they're doing. All the protesting and everything, that's fine. But can't we all get together and find a solution? Or talk about the solution? Or is there even a solution? You know, is anybody talking about the solution? Yeah, I am. I'm talking about the solution. I'm tired of protesting. We've been protesting forever and ever. It's not getting anything done. It's like pounding at the gates of Walmart telling them to lower their prices on motor oil. And they say, who are you? I yield.
Welcome back, Sean.
Sean Stryker in the house.
Or not. Yeah, corporations will do what they do. You can't change their mind except basically through your pocketbook. And money's not really worth much these days. But yeah, we can't tell the corporations what to do unless we put it in basically a formal way, which General Assembly does.
Publicly recognized form of grievances to be recognized publicly, so everybody can and whatnot. We can't just be like a private. If you're going to be a private entity, then you look like that one dude who's got the letter. You're suing all the agencies from what we were talking about. I forget what his name was, but that guy was Alex Jones brought it up too, and it's been on InfoWars and War Room and David Knight and everybody. But he's suing Alphabet and Bill Gates and everybody for all this stuff, the 5G networks, all that stuff. That's a direct person to corporation type of effort, which can be done currently in this form, but we're trying to basically null and void all their overreaching laws from the time of 1871 and beyond, meaning gun law registrations and regulations and restrictions and all these taxes and all the different laws that aren't really truly God-given laws. See, that's another thing. The Constitution is not where our laws come from, our rights come from. Constitution solidifies the rights. It is the paperwork that reassures us that these rights are not to be taken. They're already given through the Bible and through natural law and through common law forms of law. The Constitution just verifies that these are the laws and rights everybody has, and they are to be upkept through the Constitution, and they are not to be damaged and reached upon and nullified in any way, shape, or form. So, in my opinion, every gun law is null and void. Like, I don't recognize any gun law, period. Like, if you say, oh, Trump banned bump stocks, I don't recognize that. If I want a bump stock, I'm gonna go get one. I don't have one, but I don't necessarily. I'm not a guy who really needs one. If I want to feel the kick from my gun, it helps realign my shoulder. You know what I mean? But if someone's like in California, oh, we got to have 10-round clips only. I don't see any criminals following that law. So if anything, the criminals are the ones following the Constitution better than we are as law-abiding citizens. And none of those laws are truly to be recognized under the Constitution. They're not actually laws based on constitutional rights. I'll yield there. Someone want to pick up?
Well, like we were talking about, Alex Jones hints around about solutions and stuff like that. Yeah, he hints around about it because, quite frankly, he'll be burnt down if he does talk about it. Yeah. Now, nobody in a moderately large broadcasting company in any type is going to be able to talk about any of this. Now, that's because they will be basically, either figuratively or literally firebombed out of existence. I mean, they will come at you from all angles. We already know that. They're trying to kill us from all angles. So, yeah, nobody who has a decent platform is going to come out and say this stuff. That's okay. That's really okay. Because,
If I may?
Yeah, go for it.
That's where we, the callers, butt in every now and then on his show and, just drop off our nuggets, and then people go and check it out or they don't. Let the free market work itself out. He can't, push it, but when the callers say the stuff, that gives him that, degree of separation, unless he just dumps the call, and then, what's going on with that. I'm out.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the only job that the people who are on our side, their job is to keep on shining the light on all these fucking retarded devil worshippers. As long as they keep doing that, I'm good. Because that just enables them to basically get put on a big old list of, these people are doing this bad, are breaking this law, breaking that law, and all that stuff. Gives us ammunition to fight with later on. Or right now, whenever we get our, we'll just say policing legs underneath us so we can arrest these people and try them for treason. If that's what's going to happen. I hope it is. I really do want a perp walk. Several thousand of them. And I don't know if that's going to happen.
Role of,
Go ahead.
If I may, Vex, that's the role of a military tribunal under the commander-in-chief if we go that route. So that could happen. It just, people have got to be willing to deal with the pendulum goes both ways is the way to look at that scenario. I yield.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if we can get the perp walks, that's great. But quite frankly, I would be happy if we just evaporated all the previous crap that they've weighed us down with and got to the truth and started spreading the truth unimpeded. That means to me, destroying all the media groups. And that would probably be the same thing as destroying Alex Jones, too. Either that or propping him up to be like the top dog, which I don't exactly agree upon either. Competition is the best way. And it used to be, at least they put on a big old show of, wanting to, everyone to believe that they were the ones telling the truth. Well, we know that's a lie. So, welcome back.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to fall out and come back in. Seems to be working okay. It's a lot easier when you're hosting a show. Ricky kind of looks away every once in a while when he's doing it, and I'll be sitting back there forever.
Yeah, he's on other pages.
Yeah, he's busy over there.
I saw Janet dropped in for a minute, so that was from the Trump Facebook group that I'm in. So hopefully we got some inquiries and interest out of that. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, she seemed like she was interested.
I like I said to Sheldon a moment ago, I love a good scrum, a good battle royal, a good brawl, but that stuff doesn't work. And that's exactly what this deep state wants, is it wants to portray the right as being these unhinged, fighting, scrapping lunatics. So don't give them what they want. That's straight up Sun Tzu. You got to know yourself. You'll win half your battles. If you know yourself and your enemy, you'll win 100% of your battles.
Right.
So we know the left, we know ourselves. Let's not give them what they want. Let's step back and let them, like perfect example. I should go downtown tomorrow, right, and counter protest this big old anti-ICE, anti-police march? No, because if they arrest me, what are they going to find in my social media? They're going to find, my connections to you guys. Why would we do that? Looks like I got stuff with that tow truck from earlier to deal with. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to hang my mic up for a minute.
Right on.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yep.
Mike proximity first.
Oh, damn it.
That again. Okay. So
Before you get in.
Mid-City. Since 2008, I've been wanting to see something get done. Your comment is we all want to actually see something real get done. Okay? And what I'm telling you is it is getting done right now as we speak. According to Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution, the fifth branch of government. We all want to see something actually real, something real get done. Yeah. But my suggestion is y'all bring these concepts to Robert Barnes. Robert Barnes don't want to hear it. We brought that to Robert Barnes. We brought it to Alex. We brought it to
Hannity.
Owen. We don't have time to screw around for them to make this public. We got to do this on ourselves. This is up to us. It's called self-governance. Okay? And you're saying we get this all twisted up about the Bar Association? No, I brought up the Bar Association because that's part of the corporation. Right now, we're getting something done. Well, we all want to actually see something real getting done. I just said we're getting this done. It's happening. And I yield.
It might not be apparent that things are getting done from the outside because of all the political theater. So, yeah, things are getting done. You might not notice them. Well, quite frankly, the Queen walking behind Trump, that was a big deal. That was because of the National Assembly. That wasn't because of anything else. That was because he was ordered as the commander-in-chief
of the military.
Commander-in-chief of the military to get rid of the Organic Act of 1871. And he did it. And it wasn't the fact that he got up on a microphone and said, from now on, the Organic Act of 1871 is dead. Da-da-da, fanfare. No, he just did it. He didn't announce it, in so many words. But it got done.
That was his form of public display of recognizing the letter and voiding the letter.
Excuse me. Sorry. Cough button. Put that letter back up there and somebody read it. Maybe Mid-City Digital kind of get it.
Also, I don't know if Robert Barnes is actually a part of the bar. He might be. I don't know. But he's supposed to be a constitutional lawyer. And I believe as long as you study under the state and not the bar, you are actually can still be a constitutional lawyer. I don't know how he got his, paperwork and education and
Bar
all
members
his
are not
documentation.
bar members are not allowed into the General Assembly for 17 years, and then after 17 years they have to pass a test.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if he's not, he might not be a bar associate though. He might have gotten his lawyer degrees through actual American-based, ways to go forward. Because you can still do that. They're just rare to do, and you can study under the state. But still, you're not. It's a lawyer. You're not allowed. Also, it's not only just the bars. It's also all lawyers in general. But if he got his state degree through the state instead of through the bar, he could also still, want to talk about this. But if he's from the bar, it'll probably screw him over on his bar degree. Like they might come after him and revoke his bar license.
Right, he still has to pass a bar. And Mid City Digital, I get it, bro. I've been in this since 2005. Stop talking down to everyone. Well, you know what? You've been in this since 2005. Let me ask you this. What have you got done? What have you got done? Show me some evidence of something you have got done besides talking about the problem and not the solution.
Stop attacking the person.
I'm attacking Mid City Digital.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming in and hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to end this broadcast because, quite frankly, I'm getting irritated.